Hi, I'm George. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here in South Wales and behind me we have a really awesome waterfall. I think it's my favourite out of all the waterfalls that I've seen here. I'm going to put the name up on the screen. So anyway, let's get into this video. It's quite late in the day, so I'm going to have to be quite quick painting this one. Remember to subscribe to my channel and let's get into this video. I'm painting on a gesso primed panel using oil paint, and I start by massing in the general areas of value, the big shapes, just by mixing the paint on my palette, mixing the right sort of colour and value, and then putting this down with the palette knife and then rubbing this in with a tissue or going in with a brush and massing in the whole area. So I'm trying to keep it very simple at this stage and trying to get it as close as possible to the general scene. Once I've got this down as a foundation, I can then build on top of it with subtle details and shifts in colour and temperature and value. But for now I'm trying to keep everything very simple. I'm now painting the water in the waterfall, which is the lightest area of the painting. And notice how I've left the light value of the panel that I'm painting on showing through up till now. This is because it's a lot easier to paint really bright light paint over an area of the canvas which doesn't have paint on, and also that is light in value because oil paint by nature is slightly translucent, so whatever the layer is underneath, this can show through a little bit. Also, as this area doesn't have any paint down already, it's very easy to put brush strokes down on top, and this paint will be clean as there's no paint underneath to mix with it. For example, if there was the dark colour of the rock underneath and then I tried to paint really light paint on top of this, the two colours would mix and it would make a sort of grey, muddy colour, and it wouldn't be as bright as I'd like. I've also done the same thing with the areas of the rocks in the foreground. I've just left this for now as the colour of the canvas panel showing through, as these colours are actually quite similar, so I always try and get the right colours and values as quick as possible at the beginning. So if an area is similar to that of the panel or canvas underneath, I find it's good just to leave it unpainted until I want to go in and then pick out some of the details and start rendering some of those shapes. This waterfall is called Eira. It's probably the most iconic of all the waterfalls on the Four Walks trail in this area of the Brecon Beacons. I really love this waterfall. I like how there's three waterfalls side by side. It's actually really big and you can walk right underneath the water, which is really fun. So I think this is a really cool waterfall. I've been to a few waterfalls in North Wales. Wales seems to have got really lucky with waterfalls as there's so many amazing waterfalls in such close proximity. This particular area around the Brecon Beacons has a huge amount of waterfalls, but so far this one is definitely my favourite. I'd love to know if you have a favourite waterfall that you've been to in the UK. Let me know, because I really love waterfalls, so if you've seen a waterfall that you think is your favourite waterfall, then please comment in the comment section below. Here I'm painting the reflections of the waterfall into the water. So I do this by mixing up a colour on my palette which is slightly darker than the white of the waterfall, but still quite a bit brighter than the water that this reflection is going to sit on top of. And then using a fine brush, I'm just painting this down using quite definitive brush strokes. I find with water there tends to be quite a sharp contrast between the reflections and the areas of the water in shadow. So when I put these brush strokes down, I'm being very definitive. I'm not going back over the brush stroke or trying to soften or blend any of the edges. So by creating this sharp contrast, it really gives that impression of water and captures that bright appearance of the reflection. Also notice how I've painted the water which is close to the waterfalls. I painted it quite a lot darker and greener, whereas the water close to the foreground is a warmer orangey reddy colour which is quite a bit lighter. So the reason for this is that water, which is quite dark and green, is reflecting the trees above the waterfall and the area between the waterfalls, which is quite dark. However, the water in the foreground As it's a lot shallower, it appears a lot more transparent, and you can see some of the rocks underneath the surface of the water. And here I'm picking out some of the light that's shining through the trees above the waterfall. And to do this, I've mixed a colour on my palette, and then I'm putting it down quite thickly using bold, definitive brush strokes, layering this colour on top of the green that I painted down. And just a few brush strokes of this light value create that impression of the light shining through the trees. If you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on Instagram at George Frederick Thomas. I'll see you in the next video.